astronaut into space. She and 3 other astronauts, including an Australian, are on SpaceX rocket for a 4-day mission. Deutsche Welle correspondent Emily Leshner joins us now from Berlin. Emily, g'day. So tell us about the flight and who's on board.
There are 4 people on this board, one of whom, as you mentioned, is making history as the first German woman in space. Her name is Rabea Roge, and she is a 29-year-old from Berlin. She studied electrical engineering and is taking on the role on this flight of scientific specialist. And along with her is a Norwegian filmmaker, as well as an Australian polar explorer and guide, and the Chinese-born billionaire named Chen Wang, who is funding the trip. He actually met Roge during a training in the past, asked if she would be interested in coming on board, provided that he fully fund her trip. She agreed, and so here we are today.
And so what are they hoping to learn from this flight?
Well, the mission is also making another historical first. For the first time in space travel history, the rocket will orbit the Earth from one pole to the other. And this is an orbit that is generally avoided because it requires a lot more energy and there is radiation risk. But this trip is short enough that radiation will not be a cause for concern for the crew. And this pole-to-pole trip is also part of how the mission, Fram 2, the flight, got its name. Fram 1 was a 19th century Norwegian polar research vessel, so the name is a nod to that vessel. And the crew is planning on conducting around 20, slightly over 20 scientific studies. They'll take the first X-ray in space. They'll also cultivate mushrooms in a gravity-free environment. And when the crew comes back to Earth, they'll attempt to do basic tasks without the typical medical assistance, just to see how they're faring.
All right. And Emily, it seems these days we're hearing more about astronauts going to space in private rockets. Are the days of government-funded space travel over?
There certainly has been a shift since about the 2010s from government-funded space travel towards travel that's funded by private companies and investors. This flight in particular is being operated by SpaceX, Elon Musk's company. Last year, SpaceX alone launched more than 100 rockets. And Musk is just one of a number of billionaires who've set their sights on space travel. There have certainly been benefits to this shift in terms of driving investment, reducing launch costs, and generating excitement for the future of space travel. Even Roge remarked how this trip is helping make space travel more accessible and less exclusive than it used to be. Of course, there are also criticisms that come along with this increase in privately funded travel. There's a lot more space debris, and NASA does believe that the uptick in travel can be helping erode the Earth's ozone layer, but there definitely has been a shift in more privately funded space travel since, I would say in the last 15 years or so.
Okay, Emily Leshner there in Berlin.